When Alice in Borderland first hit Netflix in December 2020, it became an instant sensation with its thrilling premise and addictive gameplay. Adapted from Haro Aso's manga of the same name, the series offered a visually stunning and suspenseful ride, blending psychological drama, intense action, and shocking twists. However, as much as the show remains faithful to its source material in many respects, it also diverges significantly in its adaptation, especially when it comes to Season 2. Fans of the manga may find themselves both pleased and perplexed by the changes made to the story, characters, and gameplay. These changes are not just small alterations either. The creators of the Netflix series have taken some big liberties with Alice in Borderland, especially in terms of how the games are structured and the overall pacing of events. While the manga's narrative has a more drawn-out and methodical pace, the show tends to accelerate key moments for the sake of intensity and drama. This can sometimes result in major changes, especially in how characters interact and evolve. The structure of the games. Alice in Borderland made a shift in its order and execution of the games. A custom image featuring Usagi, Arisu, and Chishiya in Alice in Borderland. One of the most notable changes in Season 2 is how the games are shown. In the manga, the games follow a specific order that is not fully followed in the show. For example, the King of Diamonds game is supposed to be the penultimate challenge, but in the series, it is swapped with the King of Spades game. This shift in order leads to a very different pacing and structure for the season, which may leave manga fans feeling somewhat disoriented, as the events unfold in a less predictable fashion than they do in the original source material. The manga also draws out many of the games, giving readers more time to digest the strategy and psychological elements involved. The King of Clubs game in the manga, for instance, takes much longer to complete, allowing fans to have a deeper exploration of the stakes and the characters' motivations. In the show, however, the games are often shortened or streamlined, removing some of the nuances present in the manga. The result is that while the TV show is faster-paced and more action-packed, it loses some of the weight and depth of the original manga's storytelling. The Netflix series added new characters and plot points. Alice in Borderland needed to add more drama to the TV show. In adapting a manga for the screen, it is not uncommon for certain characters or plot points to be added or removed, and Alice in Borderland is no exception. Several new elements were introduced in Season 2 that are not present in the manga at all. For example, the Queen of Spades game is exclusive to the TV show, giving the series an additional dramatic moment that adds to the tension. This game, which wasn't part of the manga's narrative, introduces a whole new dynamic for Arisu and his group of survivors, providing a fresh twist to the challenges they face. Additionally, Chishiya, one of the series' fan-favorite characters, does not participate in the Jack of Hearts game in the manga, but in the show, he plays a more pivotal role in the game's outcome. This difference shows that in the Netflix series, the showrunners made efforts to expand on certain characters and their arcs, giving them more screen time or opportunities to influence the plot. While this can be enjoyable for viewers who appreciate seeing their favorite characters shine, it also creates a disconnect for manga purists who may prefer the original structure and character dynamics. The fate of the kings and queens. The TV series had a more violent and cinematic conclusion. Chishiya in Alice in Borderland Season 2 King of Diamonds game holding a tablet. Possibly one of the most notable differences between the show and manga occurs during the final stages of the game. In the manga, the kings and queens are killed in a much more subdued and logical manner, using guns on their blimps. This method of execution maintains the series' overall tone of strategic survival and psychological tension. However, in the Netflix show, the kings and queens are instead obliterated by lasers from the sky, giving viewers a much flashier, high-tech conclusion that fits the show's dramatic flair but diverges significantly from the manga's more grounded approach. The manga also spends more time diving into the backgrounds of these powerful characters, especially the King of Spades. There is a flashback sequence that explores the lives of the kings, queens, and jacks, fleshing out their histories and motivations before they become the ruthless figures in the Borderlands. This element is absent in the TV series, which opts for a more straightforward portrayal of the games and the characters involved. While this decision helps to keep the show's pacing brisk, it sacrifices some of the emotional weight and complexity present in the manga's portrayal of the game masters. The Joker and the future of the series. Alice in Borderland's manga and show had a different kind of ending. Chishiya and Arisu looking at the Joker card in Alice in Borderland Season 2. The ending of Alice in Borderland also sees some huge differences between the manga and the show. In the manga, after the final game, Arisu is confronted by a mysterious figure known as the Joker, who is implied to be the creator of the Borderlands. This character's appearance in the manga adds a layer of intrigue and mystery, suggesting that the entire game may have been part of a larger, more sinister plot. The Joker's role in the story is far more mysterious in the manga, leaving readers with more questions than answers. The Netflix show, on the other hand, takes a different approach, providing a more straightforward conclusion that ties up loose ends with a sense of closure. The show does not dive as deeply into the Joker's backstory or significance, instead focusing more on Arisu and Usagi's relationship and their escape from the Borderlands. The ending is designed to give viewers a more conclusive and satisfying ending that sets up the third season, while the manga's ending leaves open the possibility of further exploration and unanswered questions. The differences in character arcs. From manga to screen, Alice in Borderland changes its characters. In terms of character development, Alice in Borderland makes some very noticeable changes. While the manga focuses heavily on Arisu and his journey of survival and self-discovery, the TV series emphasizes the relationships between characters, particularly the bond between Arisu and Usagi. In the manga, Arisu's growth is more introspective, with his internal struggles and decision-making processes taking center stage. The anime, however, showcases more of the external conflicts and the teamwork necessary to survive the games. Another change involves the portrayal of the Jack of Hearts character. In the manga, this villain is shown to be a more sinister figure, using deceit and manipulation to win his game. His ability to cheat by using a hidden fake eye adds an additional layer of complexity to his character, something the show does not fully explore. The show, instead, focuses more on the game's physical and psychological elements, reducing the role of the Jack of Hearts scheming nature in favor of more dramatic, visual moments.